catch your eye like a big pizza pie. That's amore. When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine. That's amore.
Hello and welcome to A Taste of Acton. I'm your host Rick Degon. Today we're at Acton TV television studios and we're going to go inside and we're going to talk to the staff of a great restaurant here in Acton called Bella Famiglia. Join me, won't you? We are in the kitchen of Acton TV studios with our guest, Bob Pedowick, executive chef of Bella Famiglia, and Bob is going to create an absolute feast for us that any of you could get by visiting Bella Famiglia. So, Bob, why don't you tell us what we're looking at here on the cooktop and explain maybe what you're going to prepare for us.
All right, this is a setup for our calamari, fried calamari.
Okay, and calamari is a fancy word for...
It's squid.
It's squid. It's squid.
It's
okay.
a very underrated seafood
right,
in America, but it's catching on.
And is it very traditional to an Italian restaurant?
Very much.
Very, very much so. Okay, great. So why don't you get started? Tell us what you're going to do here.
All right, first we're going to make I call it calamari flour.
Okay.
It's not actually a breading. A lot of people bread their calamari, traditional with flour, egg. It's our opinion that makes calamari way too heavy.
Okay.
This is almost a batter, but not quite. So
okay.
First we're going to take regular all-purpose flour.
Okay.
Secret to the lightness of this dish, cornstarch.
Cornstarch, okay.
That's a half and half mixture right there.
So it's half flour, half cornstarch.
Half flour, half cornstarch.
Okay.
That's an idea I stole from Mario Batali. It proved to be correct, so I guess he's got a future in the business. Paprika.
Okay.
A little salt. And this is our magic spices.
Oh, there you go. That's all.
Which is right. Is
A
what it says. Yeah,
secret.
which is exactly what it says. Right?
And on that note, so let me ask you a little bit about your background. How long have you been a chef?
I've been a chef. I've worked off and on in the food business. I started when I was 20. I cut my teeth as a busboy at the old Rusty Scupper.
Okay.
Which was a long time ago. And I've been cooking ever since, off and on.
Okay.
I've been with my current boss, Joe, now for 8 years. So
fantastic.
It's been a good run. And we've had a lot of fun at Bella's.
Yeah. Working
out these recipes and
so
love feeding the people.
Do you come up with a lot of the recipes there?
I do.
You do.
Yes.
So
yes. Some of them are mine.
Yep.
Some of them are Joe's old family recipes.
Okay, great.
You know,
so
traditional
it's a
handed
mixture.
down.
Yeah.
Right. We'll take the recipes, some of them, and we'll, for instance, the marinara. Marinara, an old family secret recipe that's been handed down for years.
Right.
That marinara we'll incorporate into many different dishes.
Sure, yeah.
So,
yeah. So there was a base to work with, and then you just came in and added
a lot in most Italian restaurants where the food has come down through the years.
Yeah, and those
sometimes we'll just take a spin on it to make a different presentation, a more modern presentation.
But that's the best way, is traditional.
Yep. Well, it's worked for years, so.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So now
so there's the flour,
up. Yep,
right?
yep.
So we're just we're gonna take. This is milk.
Okay.
This is just it's gonna put some protein around the calamari itself.
So and I imagine that helps the breading stick a little bit as well.
Sure, it gives it a little bit of wetness, and it gives it a little protein. The protein will, as it cooks, will help it stick.
Okay.
Just gonna take these, and just dunk them for a bit.
All right. Now you're using the strainer, and that's straining the milk into the mixture.
Well, a little bit's going to get in there, but
okay.
That's just.
Oh, I see the purpose for the spray. See now, when I'm at home and I'm getting stuff ready for the deep fryer, I'll just throw it right in the bowl of flour. That's
right in the bowl of flour.
That's not the way to go.
Well, it depends on what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
But
all right.
with this, with the milk on it,
yeah,
you kind of want to get some of this flour off.
Get a little separation.
You don't want it to be or it's just the flour's just going to burn in the fryer later.
Okay.
The extra flour.
You know, that could be what I'm doing wrong, because I always get a lot of little brown spots and flakes floating around. So
it's just getting into your oil. So
buy a strainer. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, a
here.
strainer can be your friend. Yeah, yeah. Most people have one. A lot of times it sits in the
Yeah, right, because nobody knows.
sits in the cabinet.
Yeah, you got it.
But yeah, you don't want to overdo it. Again, this should be a nice, light, airy dish. So
Okay, all right. And now, when you're putting them in the fryer later, do they drop one at a time, or are you just gonna dump them all at once? What do you think is the best?
a lot of times, just to separate them a bit.
Yeah.
But you could kind of dump them all in. But this fryer later, this has a basket in it.
Oh, okay, good.
So we'll just spread them out in there just a bit. Depending on what you're cooking, sometimes you'll lower the basket and gently place things in.
All right.
These we're just going to kind of spread out a little bit.
Okay, great. Well, they look great, even uncooked. I'll tell you that much.
We'll drop it down, let it start to do its thing.
So the calamari has been cooking for a couple minutes now, and we think it's just about done.
Just about done.
All right.
Take it out. Let it drain just a touch. Put it on an absorbent plate. These plates are actually absorbent, but
Okay.
you could use
Paper
paper towel on a
yeah.
plate, right? Like
Sure.
typical frying anywhere.
Newspaper, right?
That's the old English method,
there you
newspaper.
go. There you go.
Just load these right up on a plate.
They look fantastic.
Hot cherry peppers.
Okay. So the idea is to have a cherry pepper
Sure,
and then have a
for those,
calamari?
we put them on the side. Some people will mix them right in.
Okay.
But we like to, a lot of people don't like the heat, so we
Right,
put them on
right.
the side for those that
Right.
want to choose.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit of parsley.
Yeah.
Adds a little color, adds a little bit of fresh flavor. This is our marinara sauce that we were just talking about.
Yeah, yeah, looks
we use for
fantastic.
dipping. Nice lemon, which I love.
Yeah.
Again, we just put it on top. We won't squeeze it on just in case people don't like the
flavor.
lemon. And that's it.
I'll tell you,
That's
one
the
thing
calamari.
that the people at home can't enjoy is the smell of the deep fryer. I tell you, it smells fantastic.
That's it every time.
So we'll be back in just a minute, and what we'll be doing is we'll be showing you how to make our entree, which you're going to have to pronounce for me, because
Right.
I've already had problems with it today.
Cioppino.
Cioppino. I'm learning Italian as we go along. We'll be back right after this.
Can you tell which of these children was not born free? Can you tell which of these children was not born equal? Can you tell which of these children does not deserve to be treated with dignity? We can't either. Human right number one. We are all born free and equal. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
All right, so we've had the calamari, and now we're moving on to the entree. Now, I'm going to give it a shot, but I've been messing it up all morning, so let's give it a shot. You're going to make us cioppino.
Cioppino, perfect,
Oh,
right.
all right. So why don't you tell us what
Absolutely.
cioppino is?
Cioppino is, a lot of people would think it's an Italian dish. It's not. It's
Okay.
an Italian-American dish,
All right.
which I think reflects our restaurant well. Genoese sailors, fishermen in
Okay.
San Francisco Bay, sometime around the turn of the century, came up with this dish, cioppino. It comes from a word that means to cut or chop.
Okay.
They would grab whatever they had, a little bit of this, ends, pieces, whatever they had from the day's catch, throw it into the pot with familiar ingredients, tomatoes, et cetera, and they'd make a stew. Didn't really matter what it was, it mattered what was on board, what was freshest. Of course, they were fishermen, everything was fresh.
Sure.
That reflects well to what we're going to do today because it's the same thing in New England. You take what's available, you utilize it.
Yep.
We don't have San Francisco seafood.
Right.
We have New England seafood.
Right.
That's what we use, and we think that's what makes this dish a winner.
So did the ingredients change with the seasons as far as when good I mean, I know we live in 2000 now, and we can get just about anything we want anytime.
Right. Most seafood is available pretty much year-round,
Okay.
especially New England seafood.
Right.
Scallops year-round.
Okay.
You know, we could get shrimp year-round. We
Right.
can get everything's available year-round.
All
sure.
right, great.
Yeah.
So, and what are we going to do first here? What's the first step?
This is going to
making
make
this dish?
the sauce.
Okay.
We start with the sauce, and we'll incorporate the seafood
All right.
after the fact.
Fantastic.
So we like to start with the base. We're going to start with some butter. We're going to make a roux. A roux
Okay.
is basically butter and flour.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we're just going to get our butter melting here a bit.
So when you're not cooking and you're at home and you want something to eat, what's your favorite thing for you to cook for yourself?
That's a good question because there's actually no answer.
Okay.
My whole life I've enjoyed cooking different things.
Okay.
To me, to sit and cook, the thing I cook the most is probably pasta.
Okay.
Would still be.
All
And
right.
I love pasta. Pasta and meat sauce I love. But I don't like to be hamstrung at home. I like to cook whatever I want.
Okay.
And fortunately, I'm talented enough to be able to cook whatever I
So
want.
you just like to try new things?
Sure,
and-
absolutely.
Sure, why not, right? I mean, if you come up with something great, maybe you can incorporate it right into the restaurant, right?
Now, if you were going to ask me what my favorite food was,
Yeah, well, okay.
then I would probably say a really good, it's hard to find, really, really, really good cheeseburger
Really good
is
cheeseburger.
my favorite food.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got that on the menu over there. You got the Bob Burger. Maybe you have to work on that one, right?
That's well, we'd have to make an Italian burger.
There you go, there you go. So what do we add
That's
in there?
flour.
That's the flour, okay, right, so that's the roux.
Right, so that's going to make our roux. That's just going to thicken the sauce up a bit. It's not a lot of roux for the amount of sauce we're going to do.
Okay.
It just, there's a couple things that we do just to make it a little bit more clinging.
Okay,
So
so
just
that
so it
just-
has a little bit of texture
It just
to it.
thickens it up a little bit,
Sure.
so that's the reason
Yep,
for it?
just
Okay.
a little thickening. That's just going to thicken up the butter. I use the butter. A lot of people, Italian cooking, would say, oh, that should be olive oil, which I love olive oil. We use it often. But this is seafood,
Yeah.
and I like butter with
I like the
seafood.
butter. Butter, you
So
can never go wrong with butter anyways.
this is paprika.
Okay,
That'll give it some color, and it gives it a nice little background earthy flavor.
alrighty.
You can see that's already turning nice and red. We're going to help that along with some tomato paste.
I can't,
Once again.
I can't tell you. Someone mentioned earlier that it's too bad that you can't smell things over TV because the smell in here is just fantastic.
That's
With all
right.
these ingredients and the garlic and the tomatoes and the butter and the hot dish, and it just smells fantastic in here. You guys are just gonna have to take my word for that
That's
one.
right. The person who invents smell-o-vision
You got it.
will be the richest man on the planet. We add that a little early. The tomato paste kind of cooks out a little bit of the raw flavor.
Okay.
Again, that's kind of it's for the tomato flavor, and it's another little bit of thickener.
All right. So what's your favorite dish to cook while you're at the restaurant? When something comes in, and it might be just because it's easy, or maybe it's just because it's challenging. You know, when you see that ticket come in, what's the thing where you go, yeah, all right, I don't mind doing that.
Quite honestly,
Yeah.
my favorite dish to see go out is cioppino.
This one, the cioppino.
Right,
That's
because it's one of my favorites.
Okay, great.
This is garlic, chopped garlic.
Okay. Now here comes the real smell.
Right, that ought to get the room going. We'll throw that in just to get it started. Don't really need to brown it up much in this dish. This is somewhat of a a slower cooking, simmered type of thing, more than a sauteed dish where you really put the heat maybe sometimes to the garlic. And you never want to overcook garlic, it'll be too bitter.
Okay, now you said that this was like a stew. Is it that?
A stew.
Is it that consistency, that thickness with it?
No, it's a much thinner stew.
Okay.
But you have to consider somewhat of its origins. It's lighter fare. It would be more heat, hotter summers, hotter weather.
Yeah, right, sure.
You're not going to want a thick, heavy beef stew type of stew.
Right.
So it's a soup, it's a stew, it's whatever you want to call it. All right, so then
I call it fantastic, I'll tell you that much so far.
this is white wine, and we deglaze the pot a little bit with that.
Okay.
Once
And
we
so
get
that's just to get all the ingredients back up off the pot,
anything
right?
that's on the pot. You can already see the bottom of that pot's clear. Now we'll turn the heat right up. There's the white wine. You can smell that cooking.
Absolutely, yeah.
Bring that up to temperature. It's going to cook off most of the alcohol.
That's too bad.
Sometimes it's a well, you can always get the glass of wine on the side to go with it. In fact, it's recommended with this dish particularly, but you always want to cook the wine off. It'd have slightly too acidic of a taste if you didn't cook the alcohol out of it, and it'll mellow it out nicely.
And what kind of wine do you recommend with this dish?
What kind of wine do I recommend? Again, this is a white wine.
Yeah.
Whatever you have in the cabinet. Whatever you have that's extra. Julia Child always said, always buy a wine that you're willing to drink.
There you go.
Never buy a wine, never buy...
So for you, there's no such thing as a cooking wine?
There is not a cooking wine, no. What you buy in the supermarket is cooking wine.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
You should always buy what you want. Half of it goes into the dish, the other half of it goes into you. This is seafood stock.
Okay. And what makes up seafood stock? This
particular seafood stock is clam juice and lobster juice.
Okay, great.
It's a clam and lobster stock. You could use fish stock, anything that has fish in it. That just happens to be our particular blend for this dish. And we'll dump that right in.
Well, it definitely has a soupy consistency at the moment.
It does now. We're going to thicken that up again. And the heat will help thicken. That roux will, when it comes to a boil, it begins to get its thickening properties. Again, it's going to be fairly thin. It won't be thick, not like a chowder.
Mm-hmm.
This is tomato juice. Yeah, it's getting to be a pretty color.
So for someone who's never been to Bella Famiglia, can you tell them what they might expect from the menu, other than the Americanized, authentic Italian cooking? I mean, some restaurants, they go in, they warn you that things are overly spicy or something like that. I mean, you guys cook to taste, or do you have a way that you like to?
No. Well, definitely to taste. I mean, not with spices. We always feel a lot of places will use like crushed red peppers in dishes.
Yeah.
We'll use crushed red peppers in specific dishes where it's specified.
Right.
Oh, this dish will be spicy. Other than that, it's either available by order, and a lot of people will ask.
Okay.
They'll say, "Can you make that dish spicy?" Yes, we can.
Sure.
Or they're available at the table where people can spice up their own dish.
Yeah, fantastic.
But no, we try and please the mainstream
Okay.
across the board.
Yeah.
And then as people, it's a lot of times regulars. Again, could you make that dish for me spicy?
Yeah.
Yes. Could you put, could you add a little bit of garlic to that? I like it really garlic. Sure.
Yeah.
But,
All right. Yeah. Well, that's good. So there's some flexibility there if you like it a certain way.
Well, sure.
Yeah, it's
everybody
excellent.
tastes a little different. I mean, we like to think that the recipes that we have are spot on, and they don't need to be adjusted at all.
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
Everybody's taste buds are different. This, once again, is our world famous marinara. And that's what really brings this whole dish together.
Full of secret ingredients, right?
Adds a little bit of texture to it, and the tomatoes. You can see the pieces of tomato there.
Sure, yeah.
This whole thing will bring up to a boil. It'll sit for a simmer. And the last ingredients here, once again, world secret magic spices.
More secret spices. So if you want to taste, I mean, you can attempt this at home, but if you really need to taste the original, you got to come down to Belgium.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Oregano and basil.
Okay. Look at that.
And again, we'll just bring this up to a boil, leave it at a simmer for a few minutes, and it'll be ready to go.
Is everything, speaking of coming down to Bella Familia to pick this up, I mean, is everything available on your menu for takeout? So if someone doesn't want to come and sit,
Everything's available for
everything's available for takeout. So you could order this up, come down, pick it up, bring it home, throw it in a pot, and say, honey, look at what I made.
Yeah, you're not the first person to have that idea. Unfortunately, someone. But I don't mind, guys, because women don't do that.
Okay, Bob, so our sauce is just about boiled down, and we're going to start doing what here with all this wonderful seafood that you have laid out for us?
Okay, now it's more or less just ready to go into the pot. It'll go in stages.
Okay.
Goes in the amount, speed with which they're cooked, okay? So
Okay.
this is nice, fresh seafood,
Right.
which is important to, well, it's important to all dishes, but any dish. Get some nice cherry stone clams there. They're between a little neck and a cherry stone. Nice clams.
Okay.
And we'll just start those. Won't take long. You just put on the cover. Take a couple of seconds. They're
Okay.
going to start to open.
So just after a
as-
couple seconds, you're going to
Right.
add the
We've
next
just
one.
got some water in there just for steaming. That's exactly. This whole dish is a few seconds here, 30 seconds here, in goes the next.
Okay.
30 seconds here, in goes the next.
And then
So,
do you leave those in the entire time?
the
Because they
entire
have to
time.
cook?
Those the clams, mussels, actually everything will eventually, but they have a
Right.
lot of liquid in them,
Okay.
inside of the shell.
All right.
As the shell opens, that's going to add
Flavor.
much flavor,
Excellent,
right? So
excellent.
we want to make sure we have that.
All right.
So those will open shortly. These are mussels.
Now the mussels are already a little open, but
They're a
that's
little
just
open.
the way they come,
Yep,
right?
and they'll-
Can we move that just for a second so we get a nice
Oh,
shot of
sure.
the overhead?
Yep.
We can see those starting to cook up, and once these start to open, we'll see if we can take a better look at them,
Yep.
just to show people that they really are. I mean, you can see the mussels opening right in front of us.
Right, and once
Yeah.
the clams open, we'll be able to keep that lid right off. Everything else is
Fantastic.
kind of going to cook together. Clams will take the longest. In the meantime, I have beautiful sea scallops
Very,
here.
very nice scallops.
These scallops, sometimes they'll have a mussel on the edge.
Okay.
These ones actually don't, which is great.
Okay.
If it was there, you'd notice it. You can just take it right off. You get a little steam coming out of there. These are very thick.
Yes.
We want to cut them in half,
Okay.
or they'll take far too long to cook. We love using these scallops for baked scallop type of dishes. Nice and plump,
Look at the
they're
chunk
delicious.
of meat that you have there. Even after you've cut them in half, you still
Sure.
have a great size of meat.
We like to think we have some of the best scallops around.
They look pretty good from here, I'll tell you that much.
So there, as you can see here, the clams have started to
there-
open.
Yeah.
So that's all. Once they start, if we had too much liquid in here,
Yeah.
we'd strain a
Yeah,
little
and
bit
you just,
out.
You just have a very little bit of water at the bottom of the pan.
Just a little bit of water, just to steam the clams and whatnot open. If we thought we had a little too much liquid, at that point, we might empty some. But
Just
as you
dump
can
it
tell,
out.
there's not a lot of liquid in there.
Right.
So that's going to help to additionally cook the seafood. So at this point in time, we're going to add the scallops.
So scallops are next.
Right, and these as we put in the colder food, it brings the temperature of the water down.
Okay.
Basically, this is poaching.
Okay.
Poaching is a nice, gentle way to cook any seafood. For this dish, it's going to be covered by this sauce. It's a nice way to do it. If for a different dish, you may want to pan-sear the
And you can
seafood,
see
et cetera, et cetera.
people who may not know are looking at these shrimp and they're gray, and that's because
gray.
they're raw.
They're raw.
Now a lot of the shrimp
They'll
that you
turn
buy
pink.
at the store are orange or pinkish color already.
Often already cooked.
But that's what real fresh seafood looks like.
Right. They'll specify in the supermarket
Right.
whether they're cooked or raw. But oftentimes you get them there. A lot of people will buy them cooked,
Yeah.
which isn't a bad way to buy shrimp, depending on what you're going to do with them. I find even if you have cooked shrimp, they don't hurt. They're usually cold. They don't hurt from going back into a cooked dish.
Right, right.
If they're already cooked, you just add them much later in the process.
Yep.
That's all.
And the smell now is just completely transformed from that of garlic and tomato and herbs to the seafood cooking.
It's very much
It smells like
the ocean.
Smells like we're down on the
Sure.
docks right now.
Right. And again, same idea. We're going to cook it. Those shrimp, they're starting to turn pink.
Yep.
As you can see, they're getting nice and pink.
Now, do you have to flip them, or can you just
No.
leave them to
I was
cook?
just flipping them to show you how they were
Just
doing.
showing that they were
They're
cooking,
pretty
yeah.
much the clams, the mussels, they're open. The last two things, fish.
Okay.
This is nice New England haddock,
Oh,
nice and
fantastic.
fresh. We'll put that right in the middle. And some more calamari here.
Okay.
Calamari can be cooked two ways. Either very quickly or for a long time.
And what's the difference in the consistency of it between the two?
There's not a lot, but in between, if you cook it here for 2 minutes,
Yeah.
it'll be perfect. Same within the deep fry if you're cooking calamari.
Okay.
If you cook it for 10 minutes, it'll be like chewing on a rubber band.
Oh, okay.
If you cook it for an hour in a stew or something like that, which you can do, it'll go back to
It goes beyond that
tenderizing. Right.
that tenderness.
But again, that's why that goes in. That and the fish will go in last.
Okay.
They'll heat up
Now,
very quickly.
while we're waiting for this to finish up, I noticed that you have a half a lobster over there. So is that's already cooked?
It's already cooked.
So we don't need to steam it.
Nope.
And it's part of the dish, but you have something special to tell us
Well,
about.
it's only on special.
Okay.
When we have lobsters in the building,
Yep.
lobsters are on special at Bella Famiglia, then we'll sell you this.
So if it's
Cioppino
lobster- if it's
with
lobster-
a half a lobster on top, which
Okay.
for some people, Cioppino, they have to have lobster on it.
Okay. All right. So, but you got to get it in season if you want to have the lobster
In
on top.
season.
And we just happen to be lucky enough to be shooting this during in season for the
While
lobster.
we have lobsters,
Right.
true, right. So there you can see everything is pretty much cooked.
Looks fantastic.
Now we go into our sauce here.
And so right on top, right in with the
Right on
juices
top.
in
Those
there. You didn't
juices-
strain it at all.
Those juices, as good as this sauce is by itself, now it's become something even better.
Fantastic.
And that's about it. We just coat it up a little bit. Now, when we serve this at the restaurant, we'll usually serve it with a side of linguine,
Okay.
which I happen to have here. This is already cooked. I'm just reheating it quickly,
All right.
which is a good trick you can do at home
Yeah. No.
if you're prepping for a dinner party or whatever. You can cook your pasta in advance, set it aside, put a little oil on it. Then when it comes time, all you need to do is have some boiling water or hot water ready.
See, now, part of the reason why I do this is because I love to learn a little bit more about cooking because I'm not the best cook in the world. So when I cook pasta, I boil it until it sticks to my cabinet. So if I boil it to that point where it sticks to the cabinet, can I still let it sit and then heat it up in water again, or is it too far at that point?
Well, you always want it to cook al dente, and that the sticking to the cabinet thing, although it works. I think if you've cooked it to the point where it sticks to the cabinet,
That's too far.
I think you've cooked it too far.
Okay, that's good to know. I always take it off the cabinet, throw it right back in the pot, too.
The best way I find to test your pasta,
Yeah.
you take a piece out of the water and you
And
put
just
it in
eat
your
it.
mouth and you eat it. And if it's just a tiny bit underdone,
Yeah.
it's done
Then it's
because it's
perfect.
going to keep cooking as
Okay.
it comes off. So let me move this,
Yeah.
turn off our burners, and we'll garnish this plate. A little bit of fresh parsley.
Fantastic. Look at that. That's a beautiful dish.
Some garlic toast points. Little sprig of basil. And again,
Here he comes. In season.
in season, we top it
Look
with
at
a nice
that.
half lobster. Serve it with a little bit of pasta.
Now the pasta is on the side.
Pasta's on the side. Combine it how you want.
Okay.
If I were at a restaurant, I would take my cioppino and my pasta, and I'd put my cioppino right over my pasta.
Right on top,
That's
huh?
just the way I like it.
But you guys serve it to the side because, again, everybody has their own
Right.
taste. And you wanna-
Everybody's a little bit different. Usually serve this little garlic and oil. Again, a little parsley. And
there it
that's
is.
our cioppino.
That's the cioppino. Well, that's fantastic, and we're going to come back right after this, and we're going to do dessert. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Can you tell which of these children was not born free? Can you tell which of these children was not born equal? Can you tell which of these children does not deserve to be treated with dignity? We can't either. Human right number one. We are all born free and equal. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
All right, Bob, so you've treated us with a great appetizer and a great entree. What do you have planned for dessert?
We're gonna have nice Italian cannoli.
Fantastic.
It's by far our best-selling dessert.
I can
at
imagine.
Bella's.
Yeah.
Simple recipe. Everything goes together pretty quick.
Okay.
What we have here is ricotta cheese.
Okay.
Ricotta cheese, you take it overnight and I drain it
Okay.
in cheesecloth in a conical strainer. Gets some of the liquid out of it,
Right.
makes it a nicer consistency.
Okay. All right.
At home, you could do that with a coffee strainer, which a lot of people will do.
Great. Great.
So, like I said, simple recipe. To this, we add some lemon juice.
All right.
That just adds a little something for your tongue. You don't even really notice it's in there. Just
Okay.
gives you a little taste.
All right.
Little vanilla. And confectioner's sugar.
Confectioner's sugar. Okay. Great.
And a pretty fair amount of that. That's what
You
makes
never have too much sugar.
that's what makes dessert dessert.
You got it.
And we'll just take this, mix it up gently, or else you wear it.
So now, so that's the issue, is if you mix it too fast, it ends up all over the place.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really change the consistency of the ingredients at all?
Not at all.
Okay, so you just,
Well, it will. It would mixing it to make it a nice, smooth, creamy texture on the tongue.
okay.
But slow is better.
No lumps, huh?
No lumps,
like
exactly.
That old gravy commercial.
Yeah, exactly. No lumps. And we can turn it up a little.
It's great. That already looks fantastic.
It's incredible to me that you could take a simple ingredient like ricotta cheese,
Yeah.
which most people think of as, you know, it goes into your lasagna and whatnot,
Sure, yeah. And make a dessert
and make
out
a
of
beautiful dessert out
it. Yeah.
of it.
That's fantastic.
A few simple ingredients.
And I don't even know. That's all that goes into it? It's just cheese?
Is it the cheese, the flour?
Huh.
We make it with a little lemon juice.
Yeah.
You could put in any other flavorings you wanted.
What are some other flavors that
Some
that are
people, I
popular?
mean, at different places, we make on occasion. We'll make at the restaurant. We'll make a chocolate cannoli.
Oh, that
parfait,
sounds terrible.
which is basically the same ingredient with some chocolate in
Yeah.
it, and
I'm
makes for a really nice
I'm
dessert.
a big fan of chocolate. It's my biggest weakness in life.
So then we take this, we put it into a pastry bag.
Okay. Jeez, that looks fantastic. And you're just going to load that right up in there.
Load it right up. Simple, simple. We won't put it all in. Just enough to get us going. This is a big batch, but it's what I'm used to making for the restaurant.
Right.
And it's also, if you're going to make cannoli,
Yeah.
people will come.
Right.
You're
you
better with a big batch.
Make a whole
Never
bunch,
make a
right?
small batch.
Or order them from Bella Famiglia. And then we can leave the batch making to you.
That's right. Simple. We're happy to do it. Now the next step is just plating.
All right. Well, that is a quick one.
We're going to take a cannoli shell,
Okay.
a plate. First, hand me that chocolate
Absolutely.
sauce, if you would.
Chocolate sauce. You're lucky it's lasted this long sitting there.
Just to garnish the plate. In fact, let's move this right out.
Here,
of the
I'll
way.
take it right out of you.
Thank you.
No problem.
Once again, because everybody loves chocolate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to give a little extra. Simple, just roll up your pastry bag and squeeze.
Well, you certainly make it look easy, I'll tell you that much. But I know it's not.
Now, Rick, those
That's
chocolate
fantastic.
chips, please.
Absolutely. Right on it, huh?
Right on it.
And then,
A sprig of mint. In that fridge, there's some
Sure.
whipped cream. Could you grab it for me?
absolutely I can. See, he's making me work for my dinner here.
If you're in the kitchen, everybody works. And sprig of mint.
There it is, and that's all there is to it, huh?
And that's a
It's a fantastic little dessert.
famous cannoli.
Fantastic. Bob, I have to tell you, you've treated us to a great menu here today. And of course, anybody can sample Bob's cooking down at Bella Familia. And I really appreciate your
More than
time.
welcome.
And I'm looking forward to coming down and having some myself.
Yes, thank you very much.
We'll talk to you
Rick.
soon. Thanks, Bob. All right, we're sitting down at the table here with the wonderful feast that Bob made for us, and I'm with Joe Mazzi and Rick Ganazzo of Bella Familia. How you guys doing today?
Great. Excellent.
Fantastic. So, I guess what we want to talk about now is the restaurant itself. We can see that the wonderful food and the staff that you guys have to prepare this great food. But let's talk about the restaurant. You know, where's the restaurant located?
The restaurant is located on 59 Great Road in Acton, which is about a quarter mile up from the Concord Rotary.
Okay, fantastic. And what are the hours looking like? I mean, is this the kind of place where I can just walk in on a Friday night on 7 o'clock and expect to be seated, or should I always have a reservation?
Well, usually on weekends you need a reservation.
Okay.
However, if you come early, we open at 4, we're open till 10, the kitchen closes at 10.
Okay.
And we're open Tuesday through Saturday. We're closed Sunday and Mondays.
Oh, so no Sunday feasts. over
No
at Bella
Sunday
Familia.
feast. All our people have the day off for their families.
That's fantastic. And so tell me a little bit more about yourself. I mean, how long have you been in the restaurant business?
I've been in the business for 45 years.
Okay.
I started as a dishwasher with Zait's Catering out of Chelsea, and then tied in with the Chateau de Villes, and opened all of those, and then went to Colonial Country Club, and then Sheridan, then Host International out of California.
Okay, fantastic. And a lot of these recipes come from your family's secret recipes, right? So what's your favorite dish that you guys make at the restaurant?
I like the cioppino.
You like the cioppino.
You know, I love the sauces. The marinara sauce is tremendous. We do a nice meat sauce. Any of the sauces, a dish with a sauce is always fantastic when you eat Italian food.
Absolutely. And Rick, so why don't you tell me a little bit more about your history in the restaurant business, how you came up through the ranks?
Sure, absolutely. I've been with Joe for over 10 years. I started in the restaurant business, same as Joe, 25 years ago, working for my uncle as a dishwasher. Did just about everything in the restaurant business, bussing tables, line cook, saute, kitchen manager, right up to district manager for both our restaurants. So.
Fantastic. And I know that you guys have a couple special theme type rooms at Bella Famiglia. You want to tell us a little bit more about those?
Absolutely. We have our Godfather room, which is a nice private room. You could seat up to 14 people.
Okay.
You definitely want to call for a reservation, especially on the weekends for that.
That's a popular room. And what makes the Godfather room the Godfather room? You know,
The pictures.
the pictures, okay.
It's very Godfather themed.
Marlon Brando and Al Pacino, they're in there.
Okay, fantastic. And is there another seating area that we want to talk about? I think there was
definitely.
The
The patio.
The patio section, yeah.
Yeah, we keep it open as long as we can, for as long as people want to sit out there. There aren't too many places in Acton where people can dine outside, and it's a beautiful area for outdoor seating.
And by meaning you keep it open as long as you can, meaning weather permitting, so
Absolutely.
you'll go until the snow flies kind of deal? Or is there a temperature cutoff? Like, where can I expect to not have the patio section available?
Hey, whenever people don't want to sit outside anymore, that's fine.
So if I want to show up in my Parker and sit on the patio, it's
absolutely.
open for me.
Even during the rain, we have a canopy over the head. If it's a light rain, people will still sit outside. People love to dine outside. We have tiki torches and get full service out there.
So it makes a nice atmosphere
Yes.
out there. Now, I know that you guys have another restaurant in another community. And what's the name of that one?
That's Metropolitan Deli and Catering.
Okay.
And we've had that for 24 years, actually. It started as a small deli and went into catering. We have a 3,000-foot kitchen, which Executive Bob gets to play in all day.
Wow.
Downstairs. And it seats about 125 people upstairs. We're open only for lunch.
Only
and
for
then
lunch.
for catering,
Okay.
a lot of corporate catering and home catering.
Okay. So you guys, so you have a full catering business that operates out of the deli as well.
Yes, we do.
How do we find out more information about you guys if we want to learn about the deli or even make a reservation? You guys have a website?
Absolutely. We have a website, BellaFamiliaInc.com for Bella Familia,
All right.
MetroDeliAndCatering.com. The word "and" is spelled out, by the way.
Okay, great.
We're also on Facebook. You could find us and like us on Facebook for both restaurants. And they're tied together. Our executive chef manager, Bob, works on all the recipes in that 3,000-foot kitchen. He brings all that talent over to Bella Familia, and it's the same fresh food, locally fresh produce.
Yeah.
So it's all
fantastic. And we'll put those numbers and the email address up on the bottom of the page. At the end of the program, we'll roll some credits and we'll make sure that everybody gets a good look at your website. Is there anything else that you guys want to tell me about before we dig into this great food?
Well,
and I'm just trying to get to the calamari at this point.
wanna eat.
I'm telling you that much right now. So if there's anything you want me or our audience to know,
We do
please
have
let me
a
know.
full-service bar at Bella
Yeah.
Familia, and we have a piano bar.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's a baby grand that plays itself. It's
Oh,
very
great.
nice. It's soothing music. We have our Italian music also, of course. And it's just a nice, warm atmosphere. A lot of people come, everyone gets to know everybody.
Yeah.
To watch them on a night, and everyone stops at tables saying hello because everyone gets to know each other. It's that sort of a family restaurant. It's really set in a warm atmosphere, Italian atmosphere.
That's fantastic. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention, I almost forgot, because one of my favorite foods is pizza. And you guys said that you guys have a fantastic pizza that took you quite some time to perfect. So what was the process in that?
It was when I decided to do the Italian restaurant, I said, one thing we have to have is great pizza, because I grew up in Everett and I grew up in pizza in the North End and down in Revere. So we decided, I had never done pizza at that point, really actually done it myself. So we got together and we started with the dough, and then we went to the sauce, and then we went to the cheese blend. And we perfected each one by trying hundreds of different recipes.
Wow.
And we played with it for a month and a half, almost 2 months, until we got it exactly the way, and it is as good as any pizza you're ever gonna have.
So it's absolutely perfect. So guys, I'm telling you, I gotta try this calamari right now because it's been calling my name since the beginning of the show. I'm gonna dip it a little bit of this hot, fresh marinara sauce. Oh, it's perfection. Bob, wherever you are, it's absolutely perfect. It's not gummy or rubbery at all, just like you said. Just perfect timing. Everything else looks fantastic. I can't wait to dig in. If you want some great, authentic Italian food, American authentic Italian food, head over to Bella Famiglia. Check out their website. Guys, I really appreciate you coming down.
Enjoy.
Couldn't have been a better time. Thank you very much.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's amore. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll sing Vita Bella.